Hi guys. This is technically the second time I'm recording this video because I changed my mind on what it's going to be halfway through. So that's a waste of like 30 minutes of video, but it's fine. It beats that way sometimes. So I've decided that I want to write again because it's been months that I haven't written anything. And the reason for that is because I kind of got very discouraged. I wrote my book, which I'm gonna call Project Childhood Friend for now. I was writing it and I rewrote it and rewrote it and reworded it like seven, eight, nine times. And I was getting really tired of rewriting it because I couldn't get the story down. So I didn't touch it for months. And now I'm like, you know what? I need to write something. So I decided I'm going to rewrite a Wattpad story that I wrote back in high school. Um, there are various versions of this one, so I'm going to go through each version, leaving the link to it if you want to read it too, because ooh, this cringe. Like different levels of cringe, essentially. Um, because Lord have mercy, that was a trip. Uh, so Huh, interesting. There are three versions of this story. Huh, cool, I guess. But so we're gonna go through all three versions, which tells me that I've always written stories in various versions as I continued writing them, which makes me feel better about the amount of versions of Project Childhood Friend that I've went through, because I've always written like this. This is proof. Like I'm looking at all three versions right now. This is proof that I've um always done this, which is nice. So yeah, I'm gonna go save this to Tales from the Crypt. I have yeah, all of my old writing is in a file called Tales from the Crypt. So yeah, I'm going to start reading, well, rereading these with different commentary, probably the same but different. And I'll leave timestamps on which story I'm talking about with what time. Yeah, if the links don't work, let me know. I'm gonna see if I can put them down as like PDF files because that's the easiest thing for me to read on my phone. If not, I'll figure it out. But yeah, that's what this video is gonna be now. um Think of it as part one of Project Rewrite of just another Cinderella story. That's what I called it. Um, so yeah. Okay, so this is the oldest version of this story. This is the first version I posted to Wattpad. I checked the version history and realized that I wrote I was rewriting this on Wattpad back in high school. So there's two versions of this story. Um from high school. Uh Technically three. There's three versions. It's something I wrote in high school. There's three versions, but I've posted two versions to Wattpad. So this is the first version I posted to Wattpad. I'm gonna label it as first and uh get to reading, I guess. Here we go. All right, so I just read the prologue. Apparently there are four fairies. I'm pretty sure I meant for it to be three, but I wrote four different voices. So there's that. The prologue in this version is very like it's given fanfiction.net levels of ambiguity, like 2010 fanfic.net. um like, oh my god, intrigue, something's happening kind of a deal. And it's not very subtle. And it, yeah, it's not very subtle. But a, it was my it was my prologue, I guess. Cool. Moving on to chapter 1. Well, chapter 1 uh has, for this particular version, I'm looking at it and I think I started to rewrite it directly onto this document because the first part is very different from the rest of of what I was writing. So I think I started off rewriting it on the same document and then switched over to a new one for it. So the first part is in a different font, which is how I denoted it was a different version, and then it skips back over to the um first part for the first version. So yeah, if you decide to read through this hot ass train wreck with me, just so you know that's how this is written. Um but yeah. Continuing to read, I guess. Like, I can very clearly see the influence of the other Wattpad stories I was reading at the time. Um, the Mean Girls are dressed very provocatively, which is, I guess, fine because I was also in high school when I wrote this. I think the characters was older than I was than when I was writing this. Reading it now, it feels weird because I'm an adult and these are like kids. Like, it's weird. Why did I write it like this? Um, because that was the style on Wattpad stories. Um, I want to know how I came up with the idea of having the main character and his best friend get bullied by having cow's blood and goat semen poured on them in the cafeteria. Like, what did I like? I just want to know how that idea came upon my 16-year-old head. Like, where did this come from and why is it here? Um, I find the swearing that I have in this very jarring as well. So I don't think, like, it feels very much, it sounds to me like a child trying to be edgy. That's how that the swearing in this sounded. Um it's also giving a little bit of like, it's giving a little misogyny. um like the ultra masculine, strong 6'3" girl is good, but like the overtly girly in a mini skirt is like super mean and evil for no reason. um, and the I decided to go with the one nice stepsister, one mean stepsister, and the nicest stepsister looks like Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. So there's that as well. Um all in all, I do not like how I wrote this at all, but I know for a fact that I was proud as shit of this back in the day. Back in the day, this felt like the baddest bitch of writing. That's why I posted it. I liked it so much. But like, reading it back at age 22 versus age 16, Lord have mercy. um Also, I have the fan fiction chapter break, like scene breaks. If you read fan fiction in the early 2010s, you'll see that some of them, one, have POVs, like character name POV, which I had, Lord, and two, have scene breaks where they're not changing a chapter, but they're adding lines to denote a change in scene within the same chapter. Don't like that. Also, just make it a new fucking chapter or find a way of making it into the same chapter. I don't like how I did that either. So, um, but you know what? I thought back in the day I ate with that. So, I'm gonna give credit to my past self because I was proud of it back then. but I will be damned if this is not even first draft material for me now, which, I've improved, so that's why. But Lord. Any, anyway, moving on to chapter 2. I don't want to share this version. I don't want to share this. I don't want to share this version. Oh. I'm not even halfway through a page. I have a man who I'm assuming is the best friend's Rainbow, Sylvia. Her name's Sylvia. We're going to call her Sylvia because calling her Rainbow is so cringe to me. Sylvia's brother literally is yelled about how back on his island they would have cut off their hands and dumped them in holy water for pulling some crazy shit that they pulled on his little sister and her best friend. And why did I write? It's giving savages, barely even human. It's giving. Why did I write? Why did I think that 8? Why did I think that was okay? I mean, we have a good escalation of emotions. We went from speaking with a relatively accented, like lower accent to heavy accent to different language, I guess. Seeing the positive, um, giving musical theater rise in intensity, I guess. Like I don't, Lord. Oh my gosh, this hurts. The level of cringe just is actively like hurts. mm, okay. Shit. Mm, getting back into it, I guess. It's very extreme. I just read chapter 3. Um, it's very extreme how this is written. If I were to, well, I am going to rewrite it, but how I intend to rewrite this is way more subtle. um, it's a bit, on the extremes. I feel like I'm watching someone like jump back and forth crazily, and yeah, I do find like the uh what's it called, dynamic between the nice stepsister and Phoenix, which is his name in this particular version. Um, I think her name's Jessica. Yeah, I have Jessica, Rebecca, and then I have Phoenix and Rainbow. Make it make sense. But mm, but the relationship between these two, I wanna keep, but like write differently. Like I wouldn't make it like, I don't know. I do like the contrast between the sisters, but I'm not liking the stigmatized mental health shit. That's not the ride, especially now that I finally now that I have some, you know, my own shit diagnosed. I kind of don't like the throwing around of institutionalization. It's not really thrown around. The how I wrote it was basically, the line was that Jessica was saying, "Why don't you go to the police? That way your abuser is her mom is locked up, her sister is institutionalized like she needs to be because and you keep the house because it is yours under law." And he was like, "Because then you'll have to go to the grandma." And and like, it's I don't like how, like, I don't know, but I don't. It's not. It's something feels wrong about that to me now. Um, maybe because I was institutionalized for a little bit. And now it kind of gives me the ick. So there's that. Moving on to chapter 4. And I even kept the little author's notes that I put at the end of the chapters. Ooh, chapter breaks. But yeah. Moving on to chapter 4, I guess. I think I'll read the rest of this and then come back instead of going chapter by chapter. I don't have a lot to say. Yeah. See you in a little bit. There's a drastic shift on how the main character is acting from the first couple chapters to chapter 4. And I needed to have done a better job establishing that he acts this way. Yeah, the teacher shouldn't need to explain this for the readers to know. It should have been obvious within the first couple chapters. But yeah. Why is her cheersuit red? Alright, so this has magic in it. This world has magic in it, and there's a hierarchy for it, you know, and all that shit. So that wasn't made obvious until chapter 4 either. I forgot that there was magic in this. So there's that as well. Yeah. I'm gonna keep reading chapter 4 and come back to you. Yeah. I know I said I was gonna read the whole thing, but I have too big of a mouth, so is what it is. Okay, I really need to fix the characterization of the main character, and that's the first thing I'm gonna do when I'm rewriting this. Also, there's a cool club. I feel like there was something I was going to do with that club with the ribbons and shit. So yeah. Also, it's so obvious. I'm drawing from Special A. If you know that anime, you're really cool and I want to know. When did you watch it? But like, it's giving a little bit of Special A. It's giving a little bit of Special A. But yeah. Also, there is no chapter this on some of the chapters after a certain point. So whenever you see a POV, like an author's note, and then right after it, a name and in POV afterwards, it's a new chapter. So yeah. Getting back into it. I had blue. I know, a sexist boy from a sexist country. Bro. That is so general. That is straight generalization, bro. Which I guess makes sense, given what I was attempting to do with the world building, but like, that's racist. Fictionally, but damn. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so I finished this first version I posted to Wattpad, and it's a fucking trip. Like, Lord of mercy. I do like some of the things though. Like, I didn't start the world building until chapter fucking 4, but I do find it interesting. The world I made interesting. Essentially in this version it's very classist, and to be able to use magic, you have to be of a certain class to use certain levels of magic. And working with that seems interesting. I have a club, which is, I'm assuming, is more than an art club. I hope it was supposed to be more than an art club. I don't know why I focused so much on it if it wasn't. But yeah. So that's the first one. She needs work. I cringed a lot reading it. But not the worst thing I've written in my life, so there you go. Yeah, no, the worst things I've written was my attempts at smut when I was 13. those are something else. But so that was that. I'll leave the link. It's labeled Just Another Cinderella Story version 1. I'll add the timestamps to how long that chunk is for. And we're going to go on to version 2. I written this in December of 2027. And this is the beginning part, I think. Yeah, it is. This is basically the start of version 1. So I'm not going to give it its own thing. I'll just say it right here, I guess. Version 2. December 2017. This one, I just rewrote the prologue and the first bit of chapter 1, which you'll see on the version 1. I have no thoughts except for it exists. It's literally two chapters. I don't think I'll share this one, actually. No, so I won't share version 2 because it is literally just 2 chapters. It is not worth it. So you're gonna get version 3, version 1, and version 3. That's what you're getting. And this one was made in 2019. So, yeah. Moving on, I guess. I'm going to read this and come back to you. So far, I'm way more preferring how this one is written than the first one. It's a lot smoother, less gritty, and sounds less like a middle schooler writing fan fiction. Still not the best thing in the world, but it feels better. It is better. The character is also softer. Like, which I'm again also kind of leaning more towards. So yeah. And then I only got up to like halfway through chapter 2, so I was also introducing the world build. Slow down, Kiara. First, I only written up to like part way through chapter 2 of this particular version, so it's like only 5 and some change pages. The world building happens a lot earlier in this version than it did in the first one. Like, I already introduced small bits of magic with the ribbon changing color, magically changing color. The classes structure is already being introduced with a literal servant being at your school and discussing how some people were allowed at the school and some weren't. Well, not weren't, but had to apply, like implying that the original ranking of Trevor, his name is now Trevor, not Phoenix, is higher than that of his step family, as they had to apply to go to the school that they're going to, which is implied to be prestigious because, what regular school has a white uniform? At least I think it implies prestige. I don't know. It could not. It could just be me blowing smoke up my own ass. But all in all, it feels more cohesive. Wait, especially after reading that first one, way happier with this one. Tell me what you think. And that's it. That's me reading old work that I'm going to be rewriting. The next video on this will be me like plotting out what I'm going to do and what I'm going to use, how I want this to go and all that. So hope you enjoyed. See y'all, I guess. Yeah.